Alright guys, today we're going to be changing the spark plugs on the CLA250. You guys already know how to get that cover off. Just pull up on like 4 sides, it should pop right out. These are the plugs I'm going to be using. This is my second time using these after the factory, well, second or third time using these after the factory plugs. That's the model number. Had 0 issues out of these. It ran pretty good. This is the size I'm using. I'm using a deep 14. That fits. Make sure you're not hitting the top of the plug. This works just fine. I mean, you can use another spark plug actual socket, but this is what I have right now. I can't find my other ones. I'm gonna be using a flathead, a T30, some pliers, ratchet extension. Then I got my electric ratchet just to cut my time in half. Alright, so this is how it's gonna look. You're gonna loosen this flathead up. Gonna loosen this flathead up. This flathead, I'm not too sure if your connector is gonna be the same. I believe I changed it over to these metal ones when I changed the spark plugs before, because they were like, I think they were like these, which are fucking annoying. So I just swapped those out. They're a little bit more durable to me, at least. These get warped and bent out of shape after you're sorry, I was paying attention to my dog. Yeah, but you can squeeze that, bend that one back. This little plug, you see these little ridges on both sides? I took the pliers, I just squeezed it, and this pops right off. Then you have a connector here. There is a little part in the inside. You just move it backwards out, and that comes off. This pops right off of here. I loosened this up already, so that comes out. I just popped these out of place. I'm probably gonna move this one too. And then I don't believe that I never disconnected this right here because I didn't want to break it. So I kind of moved it out the way, or I just maneuvered through. Once I pulled this off, it's hard to do this with one hand. Yeah, well, make sure you put that back on. Alright, so all these wires and shit, I kind of just moved it out the way when I wanted to change the plugs the last time. This comes off. It's probably a little different setup if you don't have an aftermarket air filter, but you pull this back and then you take this whole thing off. Alright, as you can see, I just kind of moved this out the way. I didn't want to take all of this extra shit out. Then you're going to go in with your T30. You're going to loosen these up. You're going to take these off. You might have to unplug the connector, which is right there. Just snap that off and just pull this whole unit out. This one is easy to access too. This one, you're just going to have to just wiggle it out of there. And the fourth one, you're just gonna have to move it to the side like I just did, like that, to get that out. So you don't have to take this whole unit out, because I don't really trust this fucking rubber shit they have, plastic shit they have, so I don't want to break that. So we're gonna see how these plugs look. Alright guys, you see these little plastic covers around this? You can just bend these sides out a little bit. You can bend, if it's too hard, if you feel like the whole unit is too hard to just pull out on its own, which sometimes they are, and they're super tight. That's why it's always good to use some spark plug grease in the inside. But if that wasn't on, if the last person didn't put any on, it's sometimes going to be hard to pull it off with a plug. So I would recommend, see this, got little tabs. I would hit the little tabs and then take it off, because I try to force it off, and as you can see, it broke one of the tabs off, which shouldn't really be an issue. I could still get this back on here, but there's a little part, a plastic part right there, that you can use a plier and pull out. You see it here? This part. You could just grip that and pull the whole unit out after you separate this. If you feel like it's not coming out, well, you could probably still just, yeah, you can still get a grip on there and just pull the whole thing out. Took the two out on the top. Now with this one, I'm gonna squeeze from here, that little tab that I was just showing you guys. And it'll come up, see, it comes right out. I didn't have to separate this one. See, the shit was a little dry inside of there, so I'm gonna add some spark plug grease to the inside if I have some, and I'll probably put a little bit of anti-seize on the side of this, just so it can slide out of there a little bit easier. See, some of them you won't have to take off these tabs. If you do, then you know you pull this little gray piece outward this way, and then the whole thing should just pull off. Here's all my old plugs we're looking. I normally change them a lot earlier than this, but I just haven't had time to get to them, but I'll swap them out now. But that's basically all to it, and you just put everything back together in reverse. I do not use a machine to torque it back down. I don't know the specs, so I'll just use my ratchet and I'll just get it in there snug. You should be able to feel when it's tight enough. Don't over tighten. Remember, this is aluminum, so it'll strip off inside. And just be careful that you guys don't drop anything in there, because then you're pretty much fucked. But thank you guys for watching.